Hello, once again, dear viewers, and welcome back to another Moonflower Tarot reading. And today I'm going to be channeling messages from your higher self about karmic contracts you might have had with friends or karmic baggage you are currently in the process of working through or releasing in this life when it comes to your closest relationships or patterns of behavior that manifest in your current friendships or relationships. So, if this reading has found you, it is most likely for you. Only take what resonates. And we are going to be looking at both current incarnations and past incarnations because when it comes to karma and karmic baggage, the soul has a pattern of behavior that it exhibits, and it tends to follow us from one life into the next. And all karma really is just a reaction to the choices we make or what we choose to do in our life, the intentions we set, and those we either bring harm to, or those we allow to harm ourselves, or just whatever actions are taken that persist within the spirit and the soul. And so, right now, we're going to be taking a look. These two cards are representing your energy. And now, when you're seeing this, please do keep in mind this is general and timeless. So, when we're looking at these relationships, think about a specific relationship. And if you can't think about a specific relationship this reading pertains to, then just keep it open, because chances are when we are drawn to one person, we're usually going to have a lot more people like that inhabit our lives. So these two cards are going to take a look at the perspective of this friendship, their energy, this connection, what this might be, whether it's a person you have in mind or not. And these cards right here are going to represent your karmic baggage or your role in this relationship or friendship. This is going to represent some of the wounds that came up or some things that are hidden from you that might need to be addressed or changed to release this. And on this side of things, this is their karmic role, their baggage that they're dealing with on whatever side of things they are, if you're in a relationship with them or not. And then we have more advice moving forward when it comes to this connection. Whether you choose to remain in it or not, or work through it, we're going to just see what the cards have. And so thank you for being here. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's see what the message is for you. And now I'm having a little bit of trouble talking, so just bear with me right now. I did get a lot of information before I sat down. Let me get to that first before I forget. When I'm channeling messages from a larger group of people, I tend to get a little bit more tongue-tied. So right now, I do feel like there's a lot of positive energy around you. One of the messages I channeled as I was sitting down, um, actually, to be honest, it came to me in a dream last night. Before I even knew what I was doing, I was told this would be a good. I had a list of things I wanted to do, or readings I wanted to do, and this came up. So, back by popular opinion. So, um, basically, the energy I got and what I was told by spirit is that a lot of you are very sweet, you're kind natured, and you're very powerful souls. However, there is a lot of pain. And I feel like a lot of the pain came from people outside of you. And we're looking at karma and mirrors, let's say. The theme about mirrors came up as well when I was tapping into this. And just because someone mirrors you doesn't mean that they act the same way you would, because when we talk about mirrors, we also see about you basically you have the same pain. You look like on the surface you went through the same pain, you have the same lifestyle. The people that you're in a relationship with, you have a lot of similarities. However, your reactions are different. You might, for instance, if you're more of a people pleaser, you take the pain you had growing up, you take the wounds, and you choose to do better. You choose to be right by yourself and others, and kind of lean into that more, survivor of a more toxic situationship. However, there are people in this world who will just continue to be mean and hurt others. And so this dynamic can kind of go weirdly either way, both ways, and one or the other, because there is such a connection as both two people pleasers who are really trying to overcompensate from the pain they had, as well as two very mean people who choose to take the pain they faced and hurt others. So depending on your situation, this could be more or less complicated than that. But whatever you identify as, are you a hurt person who hurts other people, or are you a people pleaser who is overcompensating, or are you somewhere in the middle and you kind of need to, you know, let go of the ones who might have seen you as, a scapegoat or someone who is easy to take advantage of, or adversely, if you are the type of person who finds it hard to regulate and you see yourself kind of almost habitually, not really being the very nicest to others because of your pain. Like either way, because some of this could be subconscious and past life stuff. And I just wanted to bring that up because that is a very important theme here and an issue that might need to be addressed because you might not be aware of these patterns. So I'm here to shed light on it. So let's see what we also have for you. Another thing Spirit wanted to mention is looking into your natal chart. If any of you do study astrology or you use your natal chart as a form of healing, looking at your part of fortune, your moon sign, how they either conjunct, contrast, if they have some sort of connection to each other, because I felt very strongly for a few of you, there might be some hints about past life karma or at least some sort of karmic baggage and how to heal from it in those two signs, their placements in your chart, as well as the Jupiter placement and how all of those align. There might be some trine placements that are being brought into focus, especially between Leo and Sagittarius season. And as well as looking at your Draconic chart and see how it compares to your tropical natal chart. And so looking at that, looking at those three signs and trying to get an idea, because if you are on the path of manifesting also new connections and relationships, you want to make sure you let go of some of the old ones. And there could be just patterns of behavior that persist. You don't need to let go of literal people that you knew from other lifetimes. It's more so of an internalized thing. So I think I wanted to clarify that. Some other signs that or synchronicities that this message is for you or this relates to the person you're asking about. Some animals associated with this reading are polar bears, penguins, specifically the emperor penguin. I also saw puffins and a duck. So there's a lot of very much watery, like colder energy maybe surrounding you. It's like you might even have a lot more air and water placements. I also heard the phrase, it's time for you to take the throne, king or queen. Your house is your own. Like, don't let anybody claim over what is rightfully yours and your life and your sanctuary and your idea of what a safe space is. Don't let anybody corrupt that in you. Another message that came through was you might also need or require a change in scenery in order to let go of a lot of this. Taking some time, like renting a cabin if you have the means to, like near a lake or the woods or the water or a place that you go for renewal. For some of you, it might be on a mountainside or maybe even in a place that's colder like Alaska, like not complete isolation, but isolated enough where you can feel like you can be on your own enough as you are and getting used to your own energy. I'm also hearing some of you are participating in more because I'm hearing you're powerful. Your souls are very powerful. Your spirits you might even associate with starseeds, and you've had past incarnations where you were like conjurers or shaman or magicians, even shepherds. I'm hearing, or people who just led a group of people, and you worked with practical untamed magic as well, and just reliving that part of your life in the most purest essence of you is vital now if you want to clear a lot of what this might be out and bringing in your manifestations, because a lot of this might actually have to be to do with your manifestations coming in and why they might not be coming in. So let's just take a look into that. Two songs that came up, one really quickly before we get into it. You see what I mean? But I have a lot coming through at once. Two songs that came up: No Tears Left to Cry by Ariana Grande, and then House on Fire by Rise Above. So that's interesting because the line from House on Fire was, why is it a fight? Why do we always fight each other, or something like that? Why do we always have to fight each other? But it's like, no matter what, I won't let go of you. And that's kind of not a healthy dynamic to have. And if this has to do with a partner rather than a friendship, like if you end up marrying your best friend and you feel like maybe who kind of wasn't, okay, I hate to say this, maybe it wasn't a friendship all along. That is the case with a lot of things that happen, like partnerships. Like if there's some confusion in your life, in your love life, like this doesn't have to pertain just for friendships. This is just any sort of relationship dynamic. But if those of you are feeling like, uh-oh, I'm kind of in love with someone who's not very nice, who mirrors everything I knew from my past and was familiar, and I mistook for love. If you're coming to terms with that, then, carefully walk away, first of all. Find people and connections that you trust that are most faithful to you, and just know that it's okay to change your mind and change as a person and evolve and grow. Because sometimes you don't know you're in a relationship with someone who mirrors like someone who hurt you before until you've reached a certain point in your healing. And I'm just going to let you know, like, you're not alone. A lot of people do that. I've done that before. I was in a very long trauma bonded relationship with someone I thought it was a friend a very long time ago. And it kind of got to the point where I saw it for what it was. And, I didn't see it as a mistake. I did learn a lot from that. And it's just about letting go and, cutting cords with the aspects of you that tolerated that. So let's look at your energy right now. And this is a clarifier. Okay. So right now we're looking at you, and I keep hearing the phrase, it's time to take the throne. Okay, so it's time to take the throne. Like, okay, so I heard the song "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas." Yeah, you are nostalgic for a simpler time in your life where there was magic and there was room to grow. And it's almost like, okay, Anastasia, Alice in Wonderland. If you like those movies growing up, or those shows, or that type of like fantasy, like you want to live in this palace and the man of your dreams sweeps you off your feet, and before you know it, you find yourself being Cinderella for every home you enter into. It's like, I didn't want this. There might be this feeling of like wanderlust and looking for a home, but searching it for it in all the wrong places, thinking it's right for you. um, I do feel like there's this need to cultivate a certain aspect of you in order to align with the manifestations. Being true to yourself, being open and honest. But it does feel like you really do want to clear out the clutter because you do want reciprocal relationships. That is your biggest wish. The dream come true for you is just to have equal relationships. And now let's see, this person or these people, these friendships you're asking about, they were not willing to collaborate. They didn't want you to take the throne. They were like almost standing in opposition. They were seeing everything you built up and almost wanting to tear it down. Because I'm getting the feeling that you might feel on the surface that you mirror these people. It's like they went through what I went through, so they know what it's like to hurt and they know what it's like to heal. And it's like, no, that's not always true. And that's kind of the lie we fall into as people. We assume just because someone knows what we've been through, like experience does not create empathy in a person. Empathy just kind of is or isn't. Like empathy sometimes has to be taught. Sometimes it is not inherent. And sometimes empathy is a lie and it's dangerous. There are people out there who have fake empathy. There are people out there who only have what is known as cognitive empathy, where they can see that something is bad. They know that they've done something wrong, but they don't have the emotional bandwidth or capacity to understand how it might hurt another person and how their actions might actually have consequences against them as well. They don't understand that if they're like hurting someone else, they're hurting themselves. If they refuse to cooperate in a situation or a relationship, the entire relationship is going to fall apart. And if you're the type of person who sticks around a little bit too long in situations where you're like, we got to make it work, they're not putting in the work, and they're not going to do the work for you, and you shouldn't have to do the work for them. These friendships, see, I'm getting this theme because this came up in my other reading, whether you saw it or not. The reading from the Lionsgate portal was pretty much kind of exactly like this verbatim. And if you're coming from that, this is definitely going to help you clear out whatever you need to in order to shift into the manifestations that you are bringing in, because a lot of themes about this type of combated and competitive energy. In fact, one of the phrases that one of my spirit guides said to me a while ago is, they compared my relationships to the relationships in the book and the movie, the Goosebumps books and movie, The Haunted House. So Carly Beth, the main character, was basically scared of everything and everybody bullied her. And one of my spirit guides said to me, is like, you don't have friends, you have bullies. You have bullies who force you to wear a mask, who force you to be something you're not in order to survive in it. And rather than, being yourself and just calling them out for their BS, you are putting on a mask and becoming them. You are mirroring their darkness and then embodying it, which is not right. So I keep hearing the phrase, it's your time to take the throne. Take back your power. They don't deserve that. They don't deserve to take everything you have and become your reflection. They are not an extension of your being. Just because we are all one doesn't mean that we're the same thing. That's not how an ecosystem works. We all work together, we all are connected. However, it's like their darkness is not yours, their shadow is not yours. Their pain might be similar, but it is not yours, and it is not your responsibility to carry that for them. And they have no right to come into your life and take away what you rightfully deserve, what you own, what you've built up. And you shouldn't give that away so freely to them. There might also be a need for you to discover this the hard way. And the truth of it might be just them revealing that they have been kind of sabotaging you all along, whether you know it or not. But it feels like the biggest karmic trend is just giving your power away to those who might be similar to who you are and have similar manifestations and similar things they enjoy doing and interests, but they're not you. There's no excuse for hurting another person. There's no excuse for it. They're not your people. So let's see what your side of the yeah. So you so here we have a weird mirroring thing. So this is kind of what I was saying. You were viewing these relationships in the past as they're like you. We're on the same team. We like the same things. We have the same shadows. However, they don't act the same way. They're not cooperating with you. They don't give a dang if you know exactly what they've been through, and they don't give a dang if what they went through was hell. They'd rather have you go through hell with them than to get out of it together. And that's the hard part. It's like, that's kind of on them. And it's not that they're bad or wicked or evil people. It's just people have certain patterns of behavior. And if you're the type of person who is, because now I'm reading this as more of a people pleaser, trauma bond, codependent dynamic. I'm definitely seeing you as the more, I do want this connection, which is why you overlooked a lot of the shadows so much that you were giving so much of your light away. Because it's funny, like this is the Three of Pentacles in reverse is literally like the antithesis to what this is right now. You are willing to do the work. You are willing to help them. You want to save them from themselves because you know the pain they went through. It's not your job. It's not your responsibility. And it's not your responsibility to tame that part of them that is wounded. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble talking. Give me a second. Yeah, I felt this catching in my throat. Like it's almost like it's too painful. It's kind of like a little bit painful. Steve, this is what I got. This realization, I think, for you has just come in, or it's been there all along, and it's painful because this is a legacy. This is not just one karmic relationship. This is a legacy. And we see a lot of this in, childhood wounding, complex trauma, as well as if you identify as being born into a more dysfunctional or just not as a loving family dynamic. If there's some attachment wounds, abandonment wounds, um, yeah, so some of this might be triggering, and I just want to say I love you and I'm here with you. And it's okay if you click off this video if it's getting a little bit too rough, but it's not your fault. This is a type of behavior that was mirrored to you, and they learned it themselves from the people who hurt them. This was just the appropriate family dynamics. And you could be seeing it for yourself and realizing, well, it's clear to me it's not good because they don't have what you have to offer. They can't give you what you have. So you can't work with them. It does not work. They cannot work in a sense in a reciprocal relationship, because with a lot of these sort of trauma bonded and more toxic relationships, a lot of it has to do with transactional sort of way of seeing people. You're an object. Or alternatively, it just doesn't work because they can't change who they are in a way, or they refuse to change. If there are any habits they have, they're not willing to do the work to change it, even though you might be. So if you were on a healing journey with a group of people and all of a sudden they're not doing the work anymore, they're refusing to change. Like, I just got a very vivid like visualization of two people going into like uh like a smoker's kind of rehab situation where they're trying to quit smoking, let's say. Like, yeah, I got shown an image of two chain smokers, and one of them is like, okay, we're going to quit and we're going to do it together. And then one of them is like, well, I have no intention of quitting. I never want to quit. And even on my deathbed, I'm going to be smoking with my oxygen mask. And well, first of all, don't do that. First of all, no, don't do that. But you get what I mean. It's like actively dangerous. It's like, not only am I not supporting you, I'm taking you down with me. Don't you think for a second you can't, you're going to stop. Because when we think about smoking, it's also a social activity. Socially, you're like, I don't want my smoking partner to go away. They're the only one who tolerates my BS. And I'm sorry to say that. And if any of you out there identify with this person, nothing but peace and love, because here's the thing, like, that's not all entirely your fault, but when you see it, you do have to take a risk and change it and acknowledge it and, apologize to yourself and the ones you hurt. But if you're the type of person who's like, if you identify with that, it's like if you ever had to do some sort of work project or effort with a person who says, I'm going to be there the entire time to support you, and then they kind of like don't, like they cheat on their diet, or they go to a bar, or like anything to do healing, or you go to group therapy and all of a sudden they're like, I don't feel like doing this, what's the point? And it's like, but because I want to do it. It's like, yeah, well, I don't want to do it, and so because I don't want to do it, you shouldn't want to do it. And now there's where we are at odds with each other. You cannot force them to change and heal. So let's see what advice you have to clear this out. It's just going your own way. Yeah, I heard the Fleetwood Mac song, Go Your Own Way. You need to go your own way. You need to start. See, and speaking of smoking, yeah, it might be just starting a new timeline. Or let me take a look at this. Yeah, I think going on your own and just doing your own thing, like clearing the data from your hard drive. Yeah, it's like there's a mix of both, like positive and toxic energies around you. There's positive and negative influence around you. Let me just say, it's not all bad. You might have some friends or a small group of people. I heard a square of people. You have a square of squares who don't want to drink or smoke. They're goody goody two shoes. So sorry, that's the song. Don't drink. Okay. So yeah, the lighthearted energy, just being, because this is okay. I do appreciate the Page of Wands has come up in two readings in a row. I believe it was either the Page or the Knight of Wands came up in my previous reading. But this is you respectively stepping into your energy and saying, I don't give a F to anyone who hurt me. And I'm not going to clown around with the clowns in town. And you have spirit guides with a sense of humor, so I know I'm in good company. So no one's here to rescue you. Save yourself. And that's another song that's come up. I'm going to write as many as I remember in the description below. But there's a song called Nervous System, and I forget who sang it. I'll probably look it up later. Um, Save yourself. Don't feed the paranoia. It won't help. Calm the storm in your nervous system. So you might be a little bit shaken at first when you kind of refuse to either hold on to the parts of you needed to adapt in order to be okay with that behavior, okay with the opposition, because it just feels like there's a lot of competitive energy, like it was opposed to who you were. And maybe this is where your moon sign comes into play, because looking at who you are at the core of your being and understanding that and holding on to that, like this is going to spark that childlike naivety in you and that, free spirited nature. I'm also hearing freelancing. So if some of you were like literally working with them or like working with a partner or collaborating with a group of people, and it was kind of like a freelance type thing or a small group of people collaborating company, maybe even like an artist group, you might have to do your own thing for a while, like splitting apart from the band. You got to go out and be John Lennon, y'all. You're choosing Yoko Ono, and it's like that's not a bad thing because you can still collaborate with the rest of the fam. Just what do you choose to do? Are you going to choose to dream big? Are you going to choose to love? Like it's okay sometimes. Like the band needs to split up. It's like, you know, Harry Styles is starting his own way. It's not, it's just an evolution. You might have started in one direction, you might have started in a boy band, but now you're just moving on with your life, and that's okay. And naturally people are not going to really like it, and they might miss it because they miss you, because you are this bright light. You are this optimistic page of wands that sees everything in the world is bright, and you might even be more flamboyant, and that energy is contagious, and that's why they were kind of like hooked onto you. They didn't want you to heal, they didn't want you to grow and to leave them because they might just not have the strength to change. So the biggest thing I think standing in your way is this need to hold on to what doesn't serve you. And I know that's easier said than done, and that's very cliche because that is literally everything that any other reader is going to tell you. How to move on is just to, choose you and what brings you joy. Because yeah, that's the thing. Like, okay, so this is my clarifier for this. Choose what brings you joy. You are the sunshine. See, look at you. You are the sunshine. You make people happy when skies are gray. You're in you're in okay, this is interesting. You're in the town with a group of clowns, and you're the solo actor that wants to go on stage and be the one that brings the sunshine. And you might have a bunch of melancholic sad clowns driving you around, and it's like it's cramped in here. I'm bigger than this. Okay, so the music video for Daylight, that's Harry Styles. I believe it's called Daylight. Yeah, so that came up. So I'm gonna write that down. Yeah, because in the music video, he's in the with a group of circus performers, and it's like, yeah, you got me cursing the daylight. I was like, yeah, oh my goodness, and it's kind of bittersweet and sad. It's like walking away, and you probably did have a lot of fun. The thing is these types of relationships are kind of bittersweet when you do walk away from them because they weren't all bad. They did teach you certain things and certain lessons you needed to learn. And not all the memories were bad. Um, you could have had fun with them. You love them. Like, that's clear. You love these people. That's why you stick around. That's why you want to make it work. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have different people out there for you because you are becoming a different person or you're evolving, and no shame for either one of you. And I just want you to know that you deserve love, and this person doesn't deserve hate either. It's just a different part in their healing journey, and time to move on. Time to move on. And it's that beautiful daylight and that bluebird energy, but not sticking to these people because it's like you don't want to be cursing the daylight. Okay, thanks, Harry Styles. um, Okay, so an odd side note, I don't know what's going on, but this came up recently. Ariana Grande has also been appearing a lot in my personal readings and when I've been channeling. So I don't know if y'all can drop in the comments what's going on with her. If she, I haven't been taking. I've been taking a hermit mode of my own, to be honest, because I'm trying to replenish my light. So this is advice for you too. If you ever need to do that, come back twice as strong. But yeah, like Ariana Grande keeps coming up as well. So I'm curious. This person, Two of Wands reversed. Wow. Yeah, I'm just getting the feeling like, yeah, this person, yeah, they're showing up as the shadow. Yeah, there's a shadow here. They could be mirroring a shadow aspect, but how one reacts to their shadow is not the same. Like I said before, the whole trauma bonded thing of you could react to your shadow by people pleasing. They could react to their shadow by, hurting others. And that's not fair and it's not fun. They could escalate and be mean, and it doesn't have to be something like they do anything that bad. They could just be like not supporting you, or they might be cynical, or they might not believe in like the magic of light. They're like the antithesis of the sunshine. They're the rain on your parade. There it is. It's like they could be just sad. They could be in denial. They don't see their own light and their own magic as you do, even though you are kind of like in a weird way one and the same, but you come at it from opposite directions. And this isn't coming into focus. So I don't think you are really clear entirely or understand or can even focus on what the issue is with this person. It's like, how can you know what I've been through and deal with it differently? Like, why are you planning against me? Why are you making moves against me when I'm working with you? Because like the Two of Wands is almost like the planning stage. After the Ace of Wands, we set something in motion, we spark that desire, the creativity. The Two of Wands is like stalling, like the next installation isn't coming. It's like we're just staying here and we're not moving. Like we want to get better and heal, not feel this way forever. We don't want to do the work. We want someone else to soothe that part of ourselves. Don't let this person make you their nicotine. That was an important message that actually came up early in my healing, and I'm going to give that to you because I knew a lot of people who had a more addictive personality style, which kind of means that they fell in line with the type of person who needed to be soothed because they couldn't regulate. And like, no, like all the love and compassion to them, first of all, because that's a different type of a nightmare to be in as a person, to not be able to do that on your own. But don't you dare for a second allow their lack of regulation and their unwillingness to learn how to self soothe. Give them permission to use you as their nicotine, as their patch, as, their designated driver, as the one who picks them up as they are healing and doesn't want to put down the addiction, or someone who just is addicted to taking from you that can't be on their own. And when it comes time to asking for, something from them, what you gave them, they can't. They don't have it in them. That's why they take. You need to be with people who can give and, reciprocate. These people aren't it. Like, this is very clear. This is like you're giving to a brick wall. You might as well be talking to a brick wall and throwing your time and energy and money into a garbage pit, because that's kind of the equivalent of what this person has energetically. you know Hold space for your love and light, dears, because that's kind of like what this is. And it's just right now, you just need to accept that this has to change. This has to evolve. And sometimes the universe might make that decision for you, especially if you know it's not good for you. I shuffled this. I literally shuffled this. Like a lot of them were in reverse, but not all of them. Every single card on their side is in reverse. Honey, get out of this relationship. It's not good. This person isn't evil. By the way, I'm just saying that if you want a sign that whoever you're asking about in this karmic relationship is bad for you, here it is. These are all the signs. You got the devil in reverse, you got the tower in reverse, we got justice in reverse. In a shadow deck where reversals are like take the reversals and to the extreme, this person is in an unfair system of their own making. The world might be falling down around them and they're falling back into their old habits. It's time to let go. You know, it's time to let go. Don't feel sorry for them and don't let them take them down with you. Because part of this, like, karmic cycle has to do with you just freely giving away your love and light to people who mistreat you, misrepresent you, and who can no longer like give any form of love and light to you, not even faking it. Because there's a point in time where, like, talking as a survivor of a very difficult, let's say, family dynamic, there's a point in time where their true colors are the only things that exist. The mask is always off behind closed doors, and there's no denying that the only thing they will ever give to you is less than nothing, and they will only take. There's a point in time where the dynamic of every single relationship you might be drawn to or had been drawn to in the past is just going to fall apart. And you're going to see the person for who they are. They're going to say the quiet part out loud because they're no longer needing to hide behind a mask. If you deny them, it's easier to see. The people who feel entitled to your energy, once you set boundaries, that's when the claws come out. That's when the mask comes out. That's when you see the true colors of, I didn't like you anyway. It's like, yeah, thank you for admitting it. Like, after all I did for you, or, those types of people. It's like, after I tolerated your existence and you showered me with adoration, how dare you say no to me because I need a ride to blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's going to happen. Once you say no, once you set a boundary, once you walk away and distance yourself, all of a sudden they're coming out of the woodworks like, how dare you leave me? Do you know who I am? So you just got to leave those people behind. And I know I'm exaggerating, but this might actually be a time for you to see them that way, because exaggeration is the key for you finally saying no and goodbye. The only way, like, I could distance myself from a lot of the relationships that were harmful, it was to see them as Saturday morning cartoon villains. Like, I had to exaggerate that. So all the arguments and all the conversations I've ever had with certain people were just like, I created this like internalized cartoon of this villain monologue of, oh yes, and I did it all along and I will never apologize for it because how dare you. And it's like, you kind of have to look at it that way. It's not fair to them to keep you chained by their side as well. Like, they're not going to be helped by it. They're going to be stuck here even more. Sometimes people need to have their life fall apart in order for them to actually choose to change. You're not going to choose that for them. You're helping them is not saving them. It could actually be making things worse. And with peace and love, soul family, you deserve the best. You deserve respect. So these are some of the messages regarding friendships, karmic contracts you might have with them. Why is this happening? And if any of this resonates with you, I'm happy to help. And we'll be putting up some more videos about, what might be coming in after you release this. But I really pray that this message has helped you today. I pray you find healing, and I pray that you let go of this as easily or as hard as you fell into it. But I do pray with peace and love that you find the best way to your highest light in this life, and whatever you choose is your path and your path alone. All my love to you, dear viewers, and I will see you in another reading.